This is for Year 10 Methods Pathways. We're going to look at question 8 from exercise 5.3. So we've got a situation where someone's building a house and they're digging a trench. Okay, a trench is basically, if you got, a pile of dirt, a trench is basically if you dig part of it so that there's not as much dirt in there, okay? So the idea is you're trying to find the volume of the brown because you'll be digging the dirt. So you'll be digging part of the, the height away. So, what are you trying to find? You're trying to find the volume of the dirt removed. Now, you would easily try to find the volume of each of the pieces individually. So the plan of attack, because it's a prism, is you find the area of the whole brown patch and then multiply it by the height. What's the height? The height is 0.87 centimeters deep. Okay, so that's how deep you want it. So that's, you can think of that as the height. Now we need, considering everything's in meters, we need to change these centimeters measurements in meters. So it's 0.85 meters deep and 0.55 meters wide. 0.55 meters wide. So make sure we convert these to the appropriate measurements before proceeding. Okay, so now begins the mammoth task of finding the area of the dirt, okay? So the area of the dirt is given by, or the area of the brown is given by, okay, let's break these up. Alright, this area would be 3.2 times the width of the dirt is 0.55, so it's 0.55 plus this area. Now, since I've used up this part of the circle, or this part of the corner already, it's 5 meters, but less 0.55, if that makes sense. Because this part, this little part here, takes up 0.55 already. And I'm multiplying it by the width, which is 0.55. Okay, so that's done. Next part, this area, okay, plus the whole height here is 1.7, but we're less 1.55, okay, so 1.7 less 0.55, and you're multiplying by 0.55, so that's done. This area, well, this takes up 2.1, but we've removed 0.55, but also we've got a 0.55 here, so it's still 2.1. So you go plus 2.1 times 0.55. That's done here. This part here, we know is, okay, we need to work out what this tiny height is, because otherwise we can't proceed. Actually, no, that tiny height is 1.5. Okay, that's perfect, actually. This is 1.5, this whole height's 1.5, and we're multiplying it by 0.55. So plus 1.5 times 0.55. So we're done here. And then last but not least, we got 2.9. It's not quite 2.9 because we've used up this part, we already used up this part, and we already used up that part. So it's minus 1.1, which is double 0.55 times 0.55. So that should give me the area. Okay, let's work out the areas first. I know it's a bit tedious because you're literally having to break down the whole thing and work it out individually. So you go 3.2 times 0.55 plus, and make sure you're really careful at entering when you're entering on the calculator, because the last thing you want to do is do all the work and then only to find out you've made a mistake somewhere in your calculation. Plus 1.7 minus 0.55 times 0.55 plus 2.1 times 0.55 plus 1.5 times 0.55 plus 2.9 minus 1.1 times 0.55. Okay, hopefully that gives me... Okay, why is there no solution? I made a mistake somewhere. Okay, that's why. Just be careful. Just double check. That should be 1. Okay, 7.81. So 7.81. Now the volume. Okay, this is the area of the brown. Okay, we haven't accounted for the depth. The depth is 0.85. So volume is given by the area times the height. Volume is 7.81 times 0.85 deep. 0.85 deep. So let's work this out. Final calculation. Fingers crossed. You times this, your previous answer, by 0.85. Should get 6.64. Okay, 6.64 meters cubed. Okay, because it's a volume. Alright, let's double check. Should be okay. So the idea was I wanted to calculate the area of the brown, then multiply it by the depth to get the volume. Okay, so it's like a prism. Hopefully this should be okay.